Yep. Absolutely.
Yep.
Let's go over to okay, so this is a funny topic because I got to get people's opinion on this. Well, all right, so first off, let's start with this. We had the PlayStation 5 news come out that Spider-Man is for the Avengers, which I now care less about because I've played the Avengers game. Spider-Man is only going to be on the PlayStation version, which I assume PS4 and PS5 next year, and that got people really mad until they played Avengers. Now they might not be as mad, but yeah. That did not go over well because we had other news earlier in the day as well. But let's start with that. What do you guys think about Spider-Man being locked up for Sony with the PS4 and the PS5?
Saw it coming.
I'm offended.
I'm gonna tell you now, Sony. This is Sony's gonna be doing this quite a bit apparently.
Yeah.
They paid a lot of money to secure a lot of exclusives.
The next year is going to be
games.
really. It's not going to go well.
I think the problem is that it's not like what they should have done. In my opinion, they should have just added Cole from Infamous or something like that, or just add the Infamous dude as an extra character or something like that.
It's Hawkeye.
You know, taking away Spider-Man is an Avenger. The game already has a lack of characters. This dude's an Avenger. Now you say, only on here, and you're not, or give Xbox its own, make it like Soul Calibur 2. Where it was
put Link in Avengers
for their own character.
But the game already has a lack of characters to begin with.
Yeah. PlayStation paid for their own character. The other company should pay too.
He's an Avenger. He's supposed to already. No, that guy was going to be in the base game, and they paid for him to be exclusive. It wasn't like they added him in. Xbox was already going to be in the game.
Xbox probably knew that was happening behind the scenes. Why didn't they pay for their own character?
Yeah,
Why didn't they be like, all right, we got home?
But that's scummy.
It is scummy, but
didn't they get terminated for Gears of War or something?
Oh yeah, we got there's Terminator and Gears of War. Yeah.
My issue is that he's an Avenger and the game already is lacking characters, and you're letting somebody pay to take away more. You're not adding, you're paying to take away. That's the issue.
You saw the state that game was in. They needed Sony's money.
Well, dude, Microsoft could have paid for Wolverine. He would have done the cross blades and would have made the X.
Yeah.
Would have been great.
And that's so there's so much legal trouble with this game, which sucks, which is that Marvel is still trying to punish the other companies that technically own the rights to X-Men. So they're not going to allow the X-Men to appear in this game, even though the X-Men run around with the Avengers constantly. So Wolverine, they can't even say the Wolverine's name.
They can't even say mutants. They can't say the word mutant.
They show the Inhumans and they talk about abnormalities, but they're not allowed to say mutations. They legally refuse to say the word mutation in the game. It's so dumb to me. As a Spider-Man fan, as a mega Spider-Man fan who literally has a Spider-Man costume in his closet, my problem is the fact that since he's downloadable content, he's going to be a minor basic bitch. We're never going to get a chance to see him really in major cutscenes. They're not going to have him be part of the main story. There's going to be a side mission where you see him.
It's like Star Fox and Starlink, where they were like, "What do you think?" And then it just cuts over to Star Fox and his whole crew, and then the other, I don't even know what the main character's name was.
Listen, they were cutie, okay?
But the thing is, there was an obvious disconnect, right? Because they were just "What are your thoughts on this?" And just pause for 5 seconds, and then it cut over to Star Fox.
Exactly. Okay. It's gonna be Spider-Man in the corner being like, "Hey guys, time for my 3 lines. All right, back to the original cutscene."
Okay, but in all fairness, the difference is we haven't seen Star Fox in how long? We see Spider-Man every 2
No, I just mean like Max is saying Spider-Man is gonna be off to the side.
There's not gonna be a storyline meant for him.
Does this mean that there won't ever be crossplay either?
No, there's crossplay.
So with Spider-Man being in those games, that means they haven't be in the game then already too, right?
Their official statement is very confusing because people have asked about that in official interviews, and their statement says we're working on things involving, and this is their exact words, we're working on things involving cross-play and cross-progression, like PS4 to PS5. That makes sense. Xbox One to Xbox Series X. That makes sense. We want to try and find more things that will work in that style. That's their official statement. So maybe it sounds like maybe PlayStation players will be able to Spider-Man with Xbox players. I mean,
I kind of feel like it's going to be a timed exclusive thing. Is what I'm starting to think of.
Yeah, I would hope so.
I think it's going to be, and I agree with you, John. I think what's going to cause it, I honestly believe this game is going to have some big problems. I think the player base is going to fall off a cliff. Even if it sells well, I think a lot of people are going to quit when they realize how boring it is.
I think it's going to come out with. I think it's going to an Anthem Metacritic is what it's going to get.
Yeah. Well, and I think they're going to merge.
Anthem?
Yeah, it might be down there, dude.
Yes, and the thing is that I think they're going to merge servers as fast as possible because an online game that requires you to log in every day, they need those servers to be combined ASAP.
There's going to be a lot more uproar when a lot of these other third-party games get what's announced that PlayStation has paid for.
Yes, Sony.
Yep.
Sony.
Sony literally put a whole big budget aside.
Yeah.
To literally get one step ahead of any exclusive for anything.
They've done that before. I mean, they've done that.
Yeah, they've done it before. But they invested
they've done
a lot more money.
Apparently, they've done it a lot more for the PS5 launch because they're like, "Nah, we're not messing around with this. We're gonna immediately take control of the console."
We can't have Game Pass. We'll have exclusives of third-party games.
Yeah, it's apparent. The first year is going to be like, if this is what's making people mad. Dude, like the internet's gonna be on fire this year, so it'll be interesting to watch.
I don't think it won't be as bad as other things, but I mean, Sony's, like I said, I'm not gonna be surprised because remember Soul Calibur 2? I go back to Soul Calibur 2. That game was a huge success on all platforms, sold over 1 million. Sony says, "Well, we want an exclusive." They literally bought. Soul Calibur 3 was exclusive to the PlayStation after it did extremely well on all platforms. Everyone's like, what the hell, man? Like everything was great on all the platforms, and they just yeeted it for themselves. So I mean, it's something that Sony's been doing for a long time, you know.
So here's the one that I was a little confused on. Okay, I need a little bit of help with this one. They then said that your PS4 controller, your DualShock 4, won't work with the PS5. And
hey man, they believe in generations. That's what they told us.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't expect my DualShock 4 to work on the PS5.
Yeah.
I didn't expect this many people to care.
I wasn't expecting. I was like, hey, the PS5 is going to come out. It's going to come with a controller. The DualShock 4 is going to go away, and I'm going to use the DualSense controller. I never was like, you know what? Nope, that DualSense stays in the box.
I think people want it for like multiplayer, like local, like NBA or like Madden and stuff like that. People like, especially with like corona, like lockdown. You know, and those controllers are probably going to be hard to find, and they're going to be expensive at launch. Like, you guys ever had issues finding controllers at launch? It's sometimes it's tough to find like extra stock.
I think it's going to be pro controller price for the Switch. I think it's going to be that price for the DualSense.
80.
I think it's gonna be $75.
Yeah, that's a lot. So people were probably wondering, like, okay, if I already bought like 3 or 4 DualShocks, I'll just be able to do this, because we all know these systems are going to be expensive. They're not going to be cheap. The PS5 is not going to be super cheap. So people are looking at, okay, a game system. Now I got to buy an extra 2 controllers. For some people, that just might be a little bit too much. It would be nice to have that compatibility, especially with Microsoft having, Microsoft already announced that you can use all your controllers, right? Nintendo put out an update to where you can use game controllers, you can use other controllers, as well. So the fact that like Sony's like, oh no, only PS5 controllers, and they talk about this whole generations and innovation thing, but they said the same thing with PS4. And PS4, what did they do? Like, you can flick a little thing in Ghost of Tsushima. I mean, there's no innovation with the control with gameplay. They have a little bar on the Last of Us that tells you your health. Like, who cares? Like they said the same thing. It was the same BS that they said before. Why you can't use PS3 controllers or whatever the case is, right? So I think that's the issue. Is like they sit there and act like there's going to be this crazy stuff, but at the end of the day, it ends up just being, we don't really need it. So I think that's the problem for that. Some people see.
I mean, I'm not a fan. I have 6 or 7 PlayStation 4 controllers, and as soon as the PlayStation 5 comes out, I'll just throw all these in the garbage can and buy a bunch of PlayStation 5.
It still works with xCloud, man.
In the garbage can, Spawnwave.
This is the only thing that I was really concerned about when they were talking about it, is because I use a SCUF, and I was hoping that it would be compatible, because right out of the gate, there's probably going to be shooters that I want to play, and like I've gotten so accustomed to having this. When it comes to my PlayStation, like if I was to play Doom Eternal and not have this, I would have been raging even more than I was when I was streaming it. But I mean, I was hoping that I would be able to use this stuff, but I mean, to be honest with you, I'm not really surprised by them doing that. So I just hope that SCUF or somebody, Corsair owns SCUF now, right?
Oh, do they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do. So I hope they have something like
cool.
right out of the gate. So
I don't know. We'll see how much they take advantage of the features, like OJ's saying, because Nintendo told me I was going to feel ice cubes in these Joy-Cons, and I think they forgot about HD Rumble. So I don't know.
HD Rumble.
I mean, I just don't see a lot of innovation like originally they were describing with it. And now I'm like, is Sony going to have these haptic feedback motors and not take advantage of them much either? And they're like, you can't use because like we can't use our old Wii U stuff with the Switch.
From what I know,
but you can use GameCube controllers.
From what I know, and you
can only use game controllers in certain games though, just like Smash, right? And I was able to use it in the game from Feral, the racing game.
From what I've heard with people that I know in the industry, Sony is pushing the haptic feedback stuff for launch But really, it's up to the developers after that to decide if they want to spend the time making it in. And it's always been that way, you know, with a feature of a controller, it has an additional cost and time associated with development to bake those features into the game. And most of the time, because there's so much crunch involved, they're just left out. But what I have heard is at launch of the system, there will be some haptic feedback stuff.
It's not even just with consoles. I mean, if you remember the Vita, all the games that came out on it initially, they wanted you to do the back touching thing a lot.
Oh gosh,
the amount of fingerprints on that.
Oh, I know, it looked terrible. Yeah,
I mean, we just went through this. I remember specifically when the Switch was revealed, and then the accessories were revealed, and the pricing, and people realized they weren't going to be able to use their Wii Pro controller right then and there. We went through this whole thing 3 years ago. So
I said the same thing. I was like, yo, it would be dope because I love the Wii U Pro controller. I was like, it'd be cool if we can use it. Has 80 hours of battery life. I literally beat Xenoblade Chronicles X on one playthrough with that whole controller. I said the same thing. I would have loved to see Wii U Pro controller support because these controllers are expensive and people already bought those controllers, so it'd be nice, you know, to have that support.
But I mean, I think that the thing is that Microsoft, of course, is all about bringing the Xbox One controller over. But that's the first time we've really done that, like that kind of compatibility between generations and controllers to that degree, where it's like you can play everything with the Xbox One controller if you want. And it does make me concerned, by the way, that they're not going to have haptic feedback in the newer Series X controller. Because that would be kind of annoying. Because I wanted everyone to move over to that, so we have third-party developers like, well, everyone has it, so all of a sudden HD Rumble starts working really well in the Switch because can
I ask you a question, John? With this, like, are they going to be able to use like the 8-bit controllers, like Bluetooth? Are they going to be able to use those with PS5?
We don't know yet with those. With like anything other than PS5 controllers, we're not sure yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all we know is that like they have racing wheels will work. I think was the big one. The Move controllers work because they're gonna bring PSVR over. That'll work with the PS5 still. But nothing about specifically like 8-bit Do or some of those third-party controllers. Apparently the steering wheels were a big deal. I didn't realize there's a lot of people were like that. Oh,
well, yeah, dude, you spend $1,000 on a steering wheel, like you want it to work.
Apparently people are really into that with Gran Turismo. So like that was a big sigh of relief from what I've seen in the comments on that. So
I don't know. I don't know. It's like more options is better than less. Like I was able to use like my Pokken controller, you know, for the when Pokken came out. Like they made compatibility so I can use my Pokken controller again. So that's, I mean that's dope, you know, for certain stuff.
I think they said fight sticks as well are gonna work,
which is good. I'm glad that they did that. You know, I'm glad that you have like super like specialty controllers. You can use those and like fight sticks, like you said, the racing, you know. But I mean, like I said, it's not at the end of the day. I don't think it's gonna matter like too much. People just buy their controllers like they always do or like they did before.
They could make it work because you'll use the PS4 controllers for PS4 games on the PS5. Like so, it obviously syncs up. It obviously works in the OS and everything. It's just they didn't want it for PS5 games.
Well, eventually the PS5 games coming out might have like that little sticker on the box that's like you don't need a controller for it, like you don't need the specific upgrade.
What they could have done is been like, oh yeah, your PS4 controllers will work, and then they just discontinue the PS4 controller completely and then slowly phase it out.
Yeah,
you can't find PS3 controllers at all anymore. Those are just gone.
I think a lot of them broke. I don't even think that it's that people own them. I think a lot of those batteries broke.
A lot of people throw them out because they don't know how to replace the batteries.
Yeah,
I didn't. My controllers are dead, and I just have a bunch of dead controllers now.
We'll see, because if there are games that come out and they seem like they'd be able to use PS4 controllers, I'd be like, I don't know about this. But if there's like
are they gonna actually like use any of the new features that are coming out on them?
They would have to be like the adaptive trigger would somehow have to play a part.
That's what I'm like hoping on. You know? Like unless they're like focusing more on gyro, which I feel like they're not. Like in my opinion, I feel like gyro could be such a really cool addition to the rest of the gaming world after playing a shooter with it. I feel like it's a really weird experience when you first learn it, but honestly, there's a tier system to shooters now, like sticks with aim assist, gyro, and then mouse and keyboard. Like I just feel like if they added more than one thing in, like with the touchpad on the PS4 controller, like Last of Us Part 2 and now Ghosts, like those are the most out of any of the other games that I've ever used it. I like forgot about it, and it's just like
controller has gyro. I don't know why they don't use it more.
Like I
you did it.
Feel like they have a missed spark.
Yeah.
I was going to say
shake the can.
that's fine.
Oh, is that what that is?
Shut the can.
The can you're shaking.
Yeah.
This is me and my Porner
That's
Cocket.
what I was gonna say. They did it with Dreams, but all right. It was a curse. It was a mouse cursor basically in Dreams. So
yeah. So my theory about all this is that there is a patent that's gone around that I'm sure some of us seen, and I'm surprised more people haven't pointed this out. But apparently, the PlayStation 5 is going to have some sort of AI inside it, possibly.
It's gonna have AI assistant, is what the word is. And if you look at the controller, it has multiple microphones.
Yes. So if you say I am stuck, the controller will actually be able to talk to you and give you hints if you want. So I think that they're really going to be pushing that. Honestly, I think
microphones.
Well, that way they can hear you say Porner Cocket from across the room.
Usually you have a microphone that tries to drown out background noise or anything going on. It can recognize the room.
So basically. we really need all that. You can't just like press the select button and get help. Like, we really need all that.
I'm not a cop here. They're the ones doing this.
Yeah. Okay.
What if you say hashtag sponsored or something like that?
Yeah. If you say not an ad and it just shuts itself off.
Do you get the game for free? I mean.
If you say Game Pass around it, like the system.
Yes, Tony, launch xCloud.
It gets grumpy if you're like, man, I've been hanging out with this hot girl named Game Pass, and the PS5 gets jealous.
Just like
something like that in like there you go.
If you said Sony or PlayStation, Pikachu gets mad.
Yeah. We all get a PS5 controller with it initially, so we'll see how it goes. I'll be curious about the pricing. If the controller is really expensive, I'll be like, oof. They should have let PS4 as an option.
They're all about generation.
Also, by the way, I have not seen a third-party controller yet at all use haptic feedback for the Switch. So, is there going to be a third-party controller that will even work with the PS5? Because it sounds like they need to meet several requirements. So, we'll see. We'll see about that one. It's going to be kind of iffy. But you'll be able to use your Xbox One controller with your Xbox Series X. So there you go.